Hey everyone, welcome back to the Music Matters Now podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Joining me today is a special guest hailing from Sweden. It's Richard from Mourning Scars. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad. It's actually a beautiful day out here. How's it out in Sweden? I guess it's almost evening time.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here, so it's pretty dark, and we have we don't have any snow right here, but it's been a long, cold winter for sure.
Well, that's always when you guys are from the north, the true north, as
Yeah.
we probably should say.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's all good. Which part of Sweden are you hailing from?
Gothenburg, so it's pretty much the western, southwest side of Sweden.
We should say it's Battle Central, as we probably like to call it too.
Yeah, exactly. The In Flames and all of those guys.
At the gates and all those ones.
At the gates, haunted.
You name it.
Yep.
They all came from there too. I guess how is the metal scene in Sweden these days too? Because you mainly hear about Gothenburg and maybe a little bit of Stockholm, but they kind of spread out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great bands throughout the country, but Gothenburg for sure is still a very good metal city, the metal capital, if I can say so. I mean, Stockholm is great as well, but but there's also bands from other parts of the country that are super great as well. So.
Yep, amen to that. Everybody's got their own little pros and cons, but I guess we could say Gothenburg spread its influence out, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it blossomed. All right. So, Richard, how you doing today? I guess, what's new? You guys got any new music coming out?
Yeah, actually, we're working on 2 new songs. They're almost finished. I got some. I was up until 5 a.m. this morning and did some mixing and shit. And my guitar player, he's the lead guitar player. He sent me some solos that he was working on, so I had to piece it into the DAW, and I had a productive night.
So, man, you've been up for a good while.
What's that?
I was gonna say, man, you've been up for a good while too. I'll jack up all your own coffee.
Yeah. So there's new music coming probably within a week or two. So keep your eyes and ears open.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. We get to elaborate more on your music in just a moment here too. But Richard, I want to welcome you to my podcast right here. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to ask you some questions. Let's get to know you more, both as the individual, but also as the musician as well. So you ready?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So start with the first one too. So I guess let's start with you in general. I guess how did you become a musician?
Wow. Yeah, pretty much the same way most musicians start, banging on pots and pans in the kitchen. And my parents, they were very supportive early on, and they bought me a drum kit when I was like 4 years old. And I don't know how I learned to play guitar. I took some lessons, I think. But that came later. I was mainly a drummer until I was maybe 20, when I got tired of it and I wanted to sing and play guitar instead. So that's kind of the story. My family on my mother's side are very musical, and I think maybe I got it from her. So yeah. And then we played. We're from a small village in Sweden. I moved to Gothenburg in the 90s, but we grew up in a very small little village where all you could do was either play music or play soccer. But sports, I mean, I played soccer as well, but music was always my go-to. So.
I'm surprised about soccer. When they also probably teach you how to do hockey.
Yeah, I played hockey as well.
Were you the rough house sort of guy?
What was that?
I was gonna say, were you the one that was always getting roughed with everybody too? Yeah, everybody cross-checking, dropping the gloves, getting fisticuffs.
Nah, I was probably too kind to play hockey, but I love hockey. We have a team here in Gothenburg, Frölunda. Henrik Lundqvist, the goalkeeper from the
Is it?
Rangers.
Yeah, former goaltender.
He was our team's goalie before NHL. So.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They say the King. That's what they always nickname him.
Yeah. I actually got to see him in Madison Square Garden. Was it 2015 or something? And the entire arena shouted, "Henrik, Henrik!" It was so cool.
Yeah, good guy though too. I'll give him that. So that's all good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I guess pots and pans. I guess, did you do any sort of musical talents in school, like playing a? The way we kind of do it was like it was either orchestra or bands. So I'm not too sure how different it is in Sweden.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but we have what's it called? Public music schools. It's you can either play in like a big orchestra, or you play your instrument individually, but it's a really good system. A lot of kids get taught how to play very early on, and I think that's why so many great bands come from here, because a lot of people learn from an early age, so to speak. So yeah.
Normally that's how it goes.
Was that an answer to your question? I forgot the question.
No, you're good. You're good. Actually, yeah, that answered it right there. Because normally, kind of in the U.S., and I think they do some sort of public schools where they just teach you strictly music.
Mm-hmm.
The school I went to, it had orchestra, which I was a part of. I used to play cello, but they also had the band. It was entirely separate. That's where you had your timpanis, the horns, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes we brought it together, did like a full orchestra at times.
Yeah, cool.
Full ensemble.
I played in a marching band as well, with a
He was there for the halftime shows.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to travel to other countries and play. Pretty cool.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. I guess, what was the farthest you traveled? Because I remember one of our trips, it still stayed in the States, but we went to Disney World for one of our trips.
Yeah, you Americans don't go abroad so much, do you?
Not a whole lot. It's pretty penny these days too. So
yeah, I've been to the States many times, and I've been to Indonesia, but the better part of European countries. I've traveled quite a lot. So Germany, Spain, England, So
you name it. So
yeah.
To be fair, though, I was in a German club, and we did go to Austria and Germany for one of our trips over the summer. So
yeah, cool.
First overseas trip, I should say. One of the best times I had in my life.
Really nice. Yeah. Did you go to Berlin?
No, we stayed in the southern half. We went to Salzburg, and then we swung up to Munich. But we did see Neuschwanstein Castle.
Okay. Awesome.
So we at least get to see the inspiration of Beauty and the Beast happen before our eyes. Yeah. So
cool.
It's all good though. So I guess let's jump into the band a little bit too. I guess have you jumped around with various groups before this one?
Yeah, I mean this I started this band exactly a year ago. Or a little bit more than a year ago. So yeah, I've been in a lot of bands. I actually didn't play metal for a while. I had my own acoustic singer-songwriter band. It was called Racing Paper Planes. I actually did a short tour of the Midwest. I think it was in 2002 or something. I did 3 weeks. That was really cool. And then we had this grunge metal band for a while. It was called Flood Horrors. It means hippopotamus in Swinglish. And then I've been in a band called Master Massive when I was younger. But Racing Paper Planes was my band for a long while. I put up maybe 5 records or so on an American indie label. called Tract Records. But I always listened to metal, and I wasn't sure if I could even play metal anymore when I started this Mourning Scars thing. So I had just one song to begin with, and I wanted to test the waters, and people seemed to like it. So I wrote some more, and as things progressed, I wrote more and more, and now it feels like home again. I really like writing and playing metal. So
that's pretty cool. In other words, you had to test the waters in order to figure out how to play the metal and all that sort of stuff, especially coming out of like, I was gonna say rock in a sort of way, or acoustic sort of band.
I mean, the metal community is always great. They're always curious, and one of the few genres where new bands actually get listened to, I think. And I'm surprised how people find the music, people from all over the world, and it's so cool. So
beauty of social media these days, being able to spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, who introduced you to metal? Was it your mom or your dad?
No, for sure not.
You found it out on your own?
Yeah, I mean, through friends. Back then, we had the physical music magazines. There was no internet. So I remember my mom finding, the Wasp and Twisted Sister and all of those guys. They looked pretty scary to her. She's like, what is this? But the guy that I'm playing with, Stefan, he was my neighbor when we grew up. His dad had cable TV, which was unheard of here, but they had some music channels, and I remember watching these metal shows and saw the Iron Maiden, Motorhead, Judas Priest videos, and Venom, and really, that's how we discovered metal. It's like, whoa, what is that? The Motley Crue Livewire video comes to mind. I was like, I want to do that. So we had this practice space in his parents' basement, where they had lighting and really good gear, and they also had a little studio. So we actually recorded our first demo when I think I was 9 and he was 8, and I still have it. Actually, it's pretty cool. It wasn't metal, but it's a little bit more of a punk rock thing, I think. I don't know what we were doing.
We can say that for the home videos we showed to the kids and grandkids later.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. And I was going to say that was more like the MTV of the days, right? Or do they kind of name it differently when it comes to Sweden?
It wasn't MTV. I don't remember what it was called. It was probably some UK channel or something. I don't remember. But they played metal videos, which was awesome. So
probably an MTV ripoff, to be honest. Them Brits, they want to copy what the US is doing, to be honest. So
yeah, it could have been something like that. I don't remember.
Though, to be fair, the Brits tend to do metal a little bit better. So
yeah.
So, no offense. So, but in other words, I guess you're a neighbor, I guess now, bandmate Stefan. I guess what made you two say like, hey, let's do this band and let's call it Mourning Scars? So I guess.
Yeah, he's been. We live in different cities now, and we kind of went our separate ways in our 20s, maybe. But we've been keeping contact, and he's been asking me, hey, do you have any songs I can play on? And he's been wanting to play whatever kind of music, I guess. But so when I wrote the first songs, I'm not really the greatest lead guitar player, so I was thinking maybe I should get someone to do the solos. I mean, I can play the bluesier stuff, but I'm not as fast and, wheedly the way he can do it. So I contacted him. I said, hey, I have this song. You want to try and play solo on it. And then I got that back. That was the song, what's it called? Dead Crows. I think that was the first song that he played on. I was like, I had no idea if he could still play. I mean, he was super great when he was young, and he's a music teacher, so I guessed he could play, but I wasn't sure. So, but when I got that back, it's like a no-brainer. Like, wow, okay, he still got it.
That's good to hear. And I guess dive into a little bit more in terms of like the gear that you guys use too. I guess do you guys get together in a studio, or is he in a different part of Sweden?
Yeah, he's in a different part, on the other side of the country. So I record most of the stuff in my home studio, and I send it to him, the wonders of the internet, you know, and he records his solo and sends it back to me. So I place it in the DAW from here, and, you know, that's the way we work.
Do you contribute any vocals, or are you just strictly more guitar and drums?
Yeah, I play everything except the lead solos. I play some lead solos, but most of them are Stefan's nowadays. So yeah, it's pretty much my project, so to speak.
It's got full ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see Stefan as a second member for sure. He's been writing some stuff as well, but I haven't really found a way to make it Mourning Scars. You know, he's got his style and I've got my style, but we're trying. I really would like for him to write some songs, so we'll see what the future holds. But yeah, it's pretty much my project, and I've played in bands a lot when I was younger, and I got kind of tired of it because, well, you know, people play in a lot of bands and they don't have time, and you know, you have to drag people to practice, and you know, it's easier to do everything yourself, especially since I'm not playing live. So
I did learn in the interviews it was like herding cats in order to get to like one specific spot. So it was kind of like how it's similar here whenever we get like a whole bunch of people on from like one particular band. So
yeah,
I can see what you mean too. So and I guess, do you work this as a full-time job, or do you work multiple jobs?
Yeah, I have a full-time job as a therapist. So this is what I do for fun, you know, on my spare time.
Helps relieve the stress.
Yeah. So there's no plan for world domination or anything like that. I just try to write as good music as I can and put it out there, and hopefully someone will like it, you know.
In his dreams, he continues to rule this world, as we like to say.
Yeah.
So, that's interesting being a therapist too, I guess. Do you use music in terms of your therapy, or I guess what sort of therapy do you work in?
I work as a therapist for people who have alcohol and drug abuse. So yeah, you get to hear a lot of crazy stories, you know. I'm not using them as lyrics, but you know, you get inspired sometimes by someone's story, maybe, and sometimes maybe right around that, and you know.
Hey, so something new every day, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, music is a great therapy as well. So
I've just seen it a couple of times too, so I figured that was going to be interesting, and I wasn't really sure like how it really works. Like, is it meant to be like the calming sort of music? Because you're not just going to blast what your shirt says there, "Dead to Cease." So I mean, it's just going to blast that. So
yeah, I mean, I get calm when I listen to black metal, and it calms me down. It doesn't make me aggressive. I mean, so that's what I listen to when I calm down. You know, the harder, the better. You know.
You get the aggressive Napalm Death style. That's when he gets aggressive.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What you mean.
And Dead Deceased is my other band that I have with two guys from Icing Venom, Mark and Chris. And I also have another band with Chris called Gok Song. So there's a lot of music going on.
He keeps himself busy, so
Yeah,
that's all
yeah.
good. Yeah, let's talk about those bands a little bit quick. I guess how'd you form those ones?
Yeah, Dead Deceased. Since I actually could pull off playing metal, I was curious if I could also play harder. Like, it's not black metal, but it's black and thrash metal, as we call it. Dead Deceased. So I had a couple of songs, and I asked Mark and Chris if they wanted to contribute, and it's the same story there. I write most of the stuff, and I send to them, and they play. Mark plays keyboard and some guitars, and Chris plays the bass. So yeah, that's Dead Deceased. And Gawk Song is Chris's project. He's actually super awesome guitarist as well. He writes the most craziest riffs. It's more of I'd say a thrash metal ish, and he sends songs to me, and I do the vocals, and send back to him, and so it's so cool for me to work on someone else's songs. I don't have to write them myself. It's not so much pressure, I just go in and sing, and I love that. I can create my own melodies and stuff, and yeah, it's been working really well. We have just one song released so far, but we have a couple coming out soon that are really awesome. So,
all right, gonna sound killer.
Maybe we can come back for an interview with Gawk Song later.
Yeah, I'm always open. The door's always open, mate. So,
yeah.
I guess how'd you guys come up with the names? So I guess start off with Mourning Scars. Then you can talk about Dead Deceased and Gawk Song.
Yeah, Mourning Scars was a name that I had laying around since maybe 2008. I actually wrote that song, Levi Black. That was the first song that I put out. I wrote it back in 2008, but I never did anything with it. The name Mourning Scars comes from, it's actually a wordplay, Racing Paper Planes, as I told you about. My first record was called Mourning Scars, like in the morning. So then I just added the U to make it sound more metal, the Mourning Scars. It just sounded cool. I didn't think so much about it, but that's how that name came to be. And Dead Deceased, nowadays there's so many band names, you're struggling to find a name that no one else is using. So you don't have 4 different Dead Deceased on Spotify and stuff like that. So Dead Deceased means to be really, really dead, you're dead and deceased. I just thought it sounded cool. And it's also the DD, Dead Deceased. I think it looks cool. So
double D, that's what you have to call it, yeah.
It's actually quadruple Ds because every word ends with a D as well. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah. That's cool. And Gawk Song is Chris's project. You'll have to ask him, but it's South Korean. He's doing his military service in South Korea. So the songs are based on South Korean folklore. All of them are about women, actually, in different shapes and forms. They're ghosts and they're killers, and they're really, really bloody folklore from there. I don't know what those people are about, but it's really cool. I've been diving into the South Korean folklore and try to write some lyrics from it. Those stories are actually pretty cool. I don't know. Did you watch the Squid Game, that series?
You know what? I've heard about it, but I did not watch it. But I think what you're referring to is Shinigami. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. So, that's a really cool series from South Korea. So, just thought about it.
Yeah, just popped in my head and just one day too. I can see. I was like, man, this guy keeps himself busy. So can't wait to see what music you come out with. So
Yep.
but I guess did COVID play a real bad role in like your music in general? I guess let's go ahead and jump into that a little bit too. So how bad did COVID impact you, music and family wise?
Yeah. It didn't affect me. I never got COVID, but and we didn't have as much lockdowns as you guys did. Sweden is a weird country, but we lived pretty normal. But there was no shows. All the restaurants were closed and all of that. But it made me get more time to write music. So it wasn't all bad. But I missed going to shows and stuff like that, of course. But I played a show with Racing Paper Planes, an online festival thing. It was going to be a festival, but everyone played from home, like an online festival. It was pretty cool. So I did get to play one show at least.
It's not like a live stream. It seems like what some musicians did, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
It's funny we keep saying racing airplanes because I immediately think of Jefferson Airplane for some reason. So,
yeah.
I was going to say, is that where the inspiration came from? Because, man,
the Racing Paper Planes is when you went to school and you were bored of the homework, you made paper airplanes out of the homework. That's where that came from.
I see. They say that or you're the troublemaker in class. Just wanted to pass the notes around, do it that way.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. Well, it's good to see you guys did do well. I guess no one in your family got COVID. You were all okay too?
It seems like another time, man. It seems like it's so long ago. But I think we all made it through pretty good. I got sick from the vaccine though, but wasn't that bad. So most of us were okay.
Good. That's good to hear. So good to have you guys along for the ride. And it went dark.
Yeah.
Dead,
Sorry.
deceased. There we go.
Yeah. There's my computer shut down here.
All right. So I guess let's go ahead and jump into more about the gear a little bit too. I guess talk about your guitar, drum set, and I guess what's your DAW and editing software that you use.
Yeah, so the guitars I use is I use one Strat and one Les Paul. So I make 2 tracks with the Les Paul and 2 tracks with the Fender Strat. It gives it a special sound that I like. A lot of my bands that I like use 2 different guitars, and I think that sounds cool. And I have a little vocal booth here. You can't see it, but it's one of those ISOVox, if you've seen them. It's a little room for your head like that. And the DAW I use is called Studio One, and Studio One Professional or something like that. And I wish I could fit a drum kit in here, but I can't. So I use drum programming. So I try to write the drums the way I would play them. So yeah, it helps to be a drummer that way. You know where stuff is going, But I wish I could record it myself, but there's no way I can fit a drum kit in there, and the neighbors would come down pretty quickly.
Yeah, then the cops be knocking on your door.
Yeah. I live in a flat, apartment. So.
I was gonna say, I thought you had like a basement. The man cave is the drum cave. So.
Yeah. I wish I could have my own house with a studio, but maybe later.
At some point, we'll try to make it work too. I guess what's the drumming program that you use? Is it a Superior Drummer or is it one of the other ones?
Easy Drummer.
Easy Drummer.
Yeah.
I guess when you were shopping around looking for stuff like that, I guess what was it that you liked about Easy Drummer?
The sound and how easy it is to use. It's Easy Drummer, but it is really easy, and it's played by real drummers, so that it sounds really great. I mean, I can't even tell the difference. It's really good, high-end quality. So
I'm just curious how well it would work when you're doing blast beats or any of that stuff too. You tend to wonder if it'd just be a little mushy sound or something. No,
I mean, like I said, there's real drummers playing it, so you just drag it into the DAW and it sounds great. So,
all right, sounds cool. I guess in terms of influences too, speaking of drummers, I guess who would you consider has been your biggest influence in drumming, vocal, and then let's do guitar wise. So let's do 3.
Wow. I would have to say maybe now I'm thinking way back when I started to play. I think it was Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden, of course. Lars Ulrich, actually. I mean, a lot of people hate on him, but I think he's a really good drummer, actually. Very unique style. Nowadays, maybe he's not so good, but he was really great the first couple albums. Guitar, dude. I mean, there's so many. James Hetfield comes to mind. Dave Mustaine. I'm a rhythm guitar player mostly. I like people who play great rhythm. Tony Iommi, of course. The guys from Judas Priest. Yeah, I could go on. Singers, wow. I mean, there's so many. I don't know if I sound like anyone in particular. I'm not really trying to sound like anyone. I just sing the way I sing. But there's this band called Candlemass from Sweden. Have you heard them? Yeah.
I've heard a couple songs from them, yeah.
Yeah, they had an American singer called Robert Lowe, and he's been a great influence for sure. But yeah, I can't think of any specific singer. I mean, I was hugely influenced by Lane Staley and Chris Cornell back in the day. So, yeah.
Yeah. Tragically, they're no longer with us, so may they rest in peace.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I was gonna say you probably could have said James Hetfield since he's both the vocalist and the rhythm guitarist too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pretty much killed 2 birds with one stone. So.
Yeah.
I was say too, you got the beard going there too, so I think you got him.
Yeah.
In terms of class.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, trying.
I was gonna say about Metallica too, because Metallica was actually the first heavy metal group I was listening to, and I was pretty young. Mm-hmm. Used to have like a hour-long radio station, and it wasn't mandatory Metallica. I always forget what the fucking name was called, but it was straight hour, just straight Metallica too. And I just remember the one time hearing No Remorse come on too.
Oh yeah.
And loving it. So.
Yeah, they were the first real big concert that I went to was Metallica as well. So, they've been with me since Ride of Lightning. Probably was the first thing that I heard, and then I went back and listened to Kill 'Em All. And then they were the heaviest thing that I had ever heard, and people my age were like, "What's that? It sounds like a blender or something." But when you listen back to it today, it's not as heavy as. I mean, its music has progressed so much, and there's so many extreme bands today that Metallica sounds like, I mean, easy listening today.
I say that's a blunder. Wait till I listen to Cryptopsy from Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
man, I mean, I got to understand the noise too. It's a little hard to get used to.
Yeah,
And it actually took me a while because a friend of mine introduced me to like the alternative rock and metal, like Story of the Year, Under Oath, and those sorts of groups. I stumbled upon metal quite by accident. It was actually Dying Fetus that got me into it.
Dying Fetus. Okay.
Yes, of all bands, it had to be that. And
Starting out hard.
I mean, it was go big or go home at that point. So
Yeah.
I got to basically the Gothenburg scene a little later with, the In Flames, a little bit of At the Gates. I heard a little bit of stuff here and there. And then I know you said Haunted. I guess, was Dissected another one out of Gothenburg, or were they from different part of Sweden?
I think the twin brothers there, I don't know if they're from Gothenburg, but the singer, Peter Dolving, he's from Sweden. He's from Gothenburg. Yeah. There's this new band, I don't know if you've heard them, they're called the Halo Effect.
Oh, they got that's because they got guys from like In Flames, or like someone's always played from
it. Yeah. The singer from Dark Tranquility, and then the guitarist. I think every band member has in some point been in Flames. So it's a really good band.
I did hear it the one time, but I think like, oh my gosh, that sounds like In Flames. So I mean, because it had such a similar style, so it was like.
I think unfortunately, better than In Flames sessions.
There was that too, but fortunately, the guy on the radio explained like, yep, all those guys at one point in their lives had played with In Flames.
Yeah.
You gotta give hats off to Anders for sticking around and like still keeping the same voice he's had since like the 90s.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, and I don't know what tours they're doing now, but I kind of wish I think it was last year or the year before. I think they were touring with Megadeth. They had Lamb of God. I was thinking like, oh man, that would have been something. Yeah. But you hate Ticketmaster because it only gives you like the headline band. It doesn't tell you like who the supporting acts were, so that's always a bit of a pain. And sadly, I also missed out with Testament because they were playing with Exodus and Death Angel. So,
dude, that's my guys.
Yeah,
huge thrash metal fan.
I guess you grew up with thrash. Did you like really love more Metallica first, and then you kind of eased into Slayer and all those guys?
Exactly. Testament to Slayer and Exodus, and a lot of good German thrash metal bands like Destruction and Creator.
Sodom.
They got me. Yeah, Sodom, of course. Yeah. So that's I listened to a lot harder stuff than most of my friends did. They were more into the hair metal stuff, the girly metal.
Dressed it all fancy and everything too, like glam metal.
Yeah.
The jeans and the leather jackets came a little later. So
yeah.
I guess going back into your music a little bit too. So I guess, how do you guys normally create a song, for instance? Do you lay like your rhythm section down first and then you send it to Stefan and all your other bandmates to say like, here's what I got, see what you can do with it?
Yeah, I most often start with a guitar riff. Sometimes I start with a lyric, but mostly I just sit around and play. And when I come up with something, I pull up the DAW and record some basic drums to it and change it later, but just to get the song down. And if I hear something, I just go to the mic and sing. And since I'm writing the song myself, so when it's finished, I send it to Stefan for a solo. So that's how it works.
I will say, because I know you talked about the lyric part just not too long ago, but for me, I always felt like you had to do the music first and then lay the lyrics over top of it, so you knew like how to like the time.
Yeah. Sometimes it just starts with a title, and you get inspired by the title to write a riff because you kind of hear the chorus in your head or something. I don't know where music come from. It's weird, but it's just there. You can't shut it off. It's
the divine cosmos interacting with the mind of Richard.
Something like that. Yeah.
Hey, it's just something beyond our comprehension, to be honest, too.
Yeah. I'm glad it's there.
Yes. absolutely too. But I guess going into social media a little bit too. I guess first off, what social media are you guys on?
Yeah, we're on the usual suspects: Facebook, Instagram, not TikTok. I'm not going to do that. What is there more? Bandcamp. Maybe that's not social media. Yeah, Spotify and all of that.
It's more streaming. So
yeah, sure. But Facebook is probably the main place where I post stuff. But it's so weird these days. I mean, with the shadow banning and the algorithms, and you post something and people won't see it until 3 days later. Or I'm really tired of it, to be honest. I think a lot of people are.
They shadow ban you if you put like the ad followers. Is that how it goes?
I don't know, dude. I've tried everything. I did a post with the ad followers last night because I was frustrated. And then people started to see the page and like it and stuff. So I don't know how that works, but it's kind of frustrating sometimes to put something out and no one will even react to it or until later. So
it's almost like that Field of Dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys who are taking a break from social media because, like I said, it's weird times with social media. I don't know. Something's going on. Something fishy.
It's conspiracy theory. The conspiracy against the metal community. So
yes.
I don't know. Too. You know, I don't blame you because sometimes you see posts. Sometimes people get a little political and all that stuff too. So it's almost like, dude, just shut up and just listen to music. So
yeah.
I get what you mean too. So I gotta say, taking a break. You know what? I think I doom scroll too much. That should be a name for a metal band. Doom scroll.
Doom scroll. Yeah. What is a doom scroll?
You know what? You just literally just said Facebook in general. You just keep scrolling. You're just not looking for anything in general. You're just seeing what's there.
Okay.
But at the same time, you could think it's like
doom scroll.
You could think of a scroll of paper, for instance, like how.
So when my next song comes out and it's called Doom Scroll, you're gonna go, that guy, he stole it from me.
I'm gonna do it like the Joe Pesci style, be like, that motherfucker, he stole my idea. Oh, by all means, knock yourself out. I like playing ideas in people's minds. So
yeah, cool.
So don't blame me if I end up taking it too. So it's all good. But I guess have you joined the Facebook group Band Together?
Yeah.
I guess when did you join, and I guess is there something you hope to achieve with your social media?
When did I join?
Yeah, it's pretty much a two-part question, but let's start with that one.
Yeah, I think it was maybe it was quite early on, early last year. When I started to put up music, I discovered Anger Overdose. And I think maybe they were on that Band Together page, and I joined there and got great support from Christina and Greg is his name. And I wanted to do an interview with them, and I did one. What was it? Early this year or late last year? I don't remember. But they've always been very supportive, and I appreciate what they do, and the community is really cool. Maybe it's grown so big now that you kind of get lost in all the other bands. There was a time when it was really happening, like you discovered a lot of new bands, and there was a lot of interaction. Maybe that's faded a little bit now, but hopefully we'll get back up there again. Would you agree?
I guess in a sense, I would say it plateaued a little bit at some points, but it seems like it's now over, was it 7.5 thousand members or something like that? So I mean, it still grows. So they're doing wonders out in the world too.
Yeah. It's awesome. And like I said, I've been a bit tired of the Facebook thing lately, so I haven't really interacted that much either. So I have myself to blame, maybe.
But I guess in terms of social media, maybe once everything cools down a little bit too, is there something you hope to achieve with your social media, or really anything in general?
Yeah, I mean, I guess every band wants to grow their listener base, fan base, whatever you call it. But like I said, I don't really have a big, huge goal. I just want to make the best music that I can make, and like I said, I hope people will listen and like it. And, what can you do? I was talking to Chris the other day how to, gain followers and all of that. And plus, if you put out everything for free, how's anyone gonna buy it if they get it for free? That's something we discussed. Maybe try to create some special edition of things, maybe songs that are just on the CD, and there's all sorts of things that you can do, I guess. Add some extra bonus pics or stickers or whatever. I don't know.
Well, there's the merch idea, and then the other one could be Patreon too, if you want to look at that stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Leave it up to you. It's a little bit of a very long uphill struggle. It's a lot harder with Patreon and also trying to sell the merch too.
Yeah.
I guess, do you have your own, or you just consider it, you just never really got around to it for Patreon?
My own Patreon? No. I don't know. I can't really. I don't think it's for me, to be honest.
Hey, just for the idea out there. So, worth a shot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I guess, have you done numerous interviews besides Christina and Greg? Outside
I've done a few. Melanie Nix and the Graveyard Sessions, and did one in the UK with Monster Shop Metal, the podcast. I was their co-host, and I talked about thrash metal, actually. So I've done a few interviews, yeah.
So he's used to it at this point. So
yeah.
And not to get off topic too, but what do you make of that whole drama that's going around with Slayer these days?
Oh, I don't know, man. More power to them. If they want to do it. I mean, they're a great band. And I don't think it's a money grab either. It's just, I think maybe Tom needed some years rest. I think his back was really bad or something from all the headbanging, the helicopter swing. I don't have the hair anymore, but I think it's cool. I'll go see them for sure if they come to Sweden.
I just remember Kerry King just did like his self-titled solo work album. It was the Idle Hands. Then all of a sudden you hear like Tom Araya's wife harassed him in quotes to get back into doing Slayer again. That's what it says. Okay. I'm thinking like, what the hell was that all about?
Yeah, I haven't really followed it, but I listened to the Kerry King, the new song that came out. It was supposed to be Phil Anselmo on vocals, I think, but since the Pantera thing happened, I guess he couldn't do it. But it sounded okay. I mean, it wasn't super, but
I mean, hey, it's something. And I think the singer, or at least the ones they play on the radio, he played with Death Angel and Forbidden.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a great job, for sure.
Absolutely. So, best luck to him. Hopefully, we get some shows close to our neck of the woods. We should say that. I don't know where they're playing at. They did announce some shows. I just forget where they're at. So,
I haven't seen any shows for Sweden yet, but hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see what happens too. I guess in terms of challenges, I guess first off, do you tour in and around Sweden at all, or have you done like? No. You just mainly stick to just doing music, and then that's pretty much it.
It's a recording project. I mean, I guess I could get a band together and play live. I'm just too. I mean, like I said, I have a job and a family and all of that, so I don't have that much time to do stuff like that anymore. But I've said it before. Never say never. I would love to do a show sometime. Maybe use another band as a backing band is something that I've been pondering, so I don't have to put a whole band together. They already had their gear and stuff and place to practice, and maybe they can learn my songs, and that's a possibility.
That's an interview I did yesterday. Actually, the guy said he was thinking about franchising the band. I don't know. Would you consider something like that?
How do you mean?
I don't know. It was kind of strange because it seemed like I think it was like one person could come in and you would go and jam with them, for instance, and then they would just pay you money just to play under the name or do like some sort of covers or something like that too. So that's the way I interpret it too. So
it sounds like something Gene Simmons would do.
Something like that, yeah.
No, I don't think I would do that.
It's probably a good thing. So, all right.
Okay.
But I was kind of leading into this question right here, I guess. So what's the challenges you face these days being a musician? Is it more of time constraints?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the challenge that I have is, you try to release a song every 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. And sometimes you can't come up with shit. So it gets a bit stressful sometimes when you're near the time that you thought that you would have something ready. But it's all in my mind, so it's not like anyone's waiting for it, I guess. But yeah, those are the challenges, to come up with quality songs.
So many music ideas, so little time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sadly.
Plus, I have too many other projects as well.
I mean, you got 3 altogether too, and then you're also being a therapist. So I mean,
yeah,
probably needs a break every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I guess what you mean there too. I guess in terms of this question too, for all the, let's just stick it to the band together too. But if you want to expand it to other musicians, go ahead. But what advice would you give to other musicians who are perhaps up and coming or trying to get their hands dirty with music production?
Give up.
Well, we are metal, so we are meant to be despairing.
I'm just kidding.
So.
I'm just kidding. I mean, practice. Practice hard. Write as good songs as you can. Try to get your name out there. I mean, it's tough competition, but have fun. I mean, do what you want to do. Don't let anyone else tell you how you should sound or not sound. Just, yeah, be yourselves.
All right, sounds good too. All right, so Richard, we breezed through the questions here pretty good, but we got just now the fun questions and one more after that too. So, ready for some fun ones?
Sure.
Okay. So first off, is it a tradition for most Sweden men to grow out beards?
No.
It keeps the face warm.
It does in the winter, yeah. My wife is not so happy about it, but I like it. I think she's grown to like it now.
Let's say I've seen like the Johan Hegg from Amon Amarth. I can kind of see it a little bit too.
Yeah. I'm getting there. It's coming along.
I didn't actually know that he does skating. Do you ever see him in some of those videos? He almost look like he could be an Olympic skater.
Oh, really?
It's freaky. I mean, hey, every metalhead's got a soft side, to be honest, too. So
yeah.
Actually, which part of Sweden do they hail from? Are they out of Gothenburg too, or are they somewhere else?
No, I don't know actually. I think maybe they're from the northern parts of Sweden. Something I don't really know actually where they're from.
They keep a strong Viking Norse tradition.
They might be a Stockholm band at this point. I don't know.
I was gonna say they keep the nice Norse Viking traditions alive too. So
yeah.
That's for sure. That one wasn't really, but I just wanted to throw it out there too. But
they probably
a real fun question.
In the woods or something, in a cave somewhere with their Viking helmets and
wolf jaw on my head or something like that too. Valhalla. So,
yeah.
All good. But in terms of fun questions here, I guess. First off, what would you consider as your favorite food?
A favorite food? I like Indian food a lot.
Really?
Or Thai food. It's good as well. I like spicy food. Really spicy. Like that. So.
Normally when I think of spice, I always think of Mexican style foods, mainly because that's the ones mixing all the peppers and all that stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, Mexican is awesome. I like a lot of different kinds of food. So, but Indian food is probably, if I had to pick one, it would be Indian food for the rest of my life.
Because what sort of Indian food is there? Because I know some people have brought it up. I'm thinking like, what sort of Indian food is it? Is it like mainly beans sort of food? I guess, what is it?
I mean, they have a lot of lamb cuisines, and their vegetarian stuff is good as well, like a lot of lentils and stuff like that. The chicken, tandoori chicken, it's like a special kind of oven that you cook the chicken in.
Sounds good.
And the vindaloo is like the spiciest of them all. It's like you can't barely eat it because it's so spicy. It's like burns your whole mouth.
It's like fire.
Good stuff.
Fire coming out of the mouth of a hungry dragon, for instance.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. And the next one, I guess, what would you consider is your favorite movie?
Wow. I would have to say maybe the Matrix movies. I like them a lot. What's that movie? I wasn't thinking Pulp Fiction, but I was thinking of something else. What's that movie with Meatloaf in it?
Is it a Quentin Tarantino movie or is it something else?
No, I can't remember now. With Brad Pitt. Fight Club. That's what.
Fight Club.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say Meatloaf. I don't know if he was doing acting or some sort of acting like that.
He was.
That's pretty
good in that movie, actually.
Yeah, actually, I would say The Matrix. I think unfortunately that spawned a lot of conspiracy theories too. That we're living in a alternate reality, or that.
Yeah, it boggles your mind.
There's that too. That's like you're always rubbing the back of your head, being like, "Okay, I'm good." So.
I'm not plugged in.
We're not plugged into something, so that's all good. Good choices too. I remember a friend of mine. He used to know like the whole movie series like the back of his hand pretty well too. So I'd always ask him for questions. So I listen to this day. He's kind of moved away. It's different parts of the states. So for the next fun questions here. First off, do you drink by any chance?
Water.
Outside of water.
Yeah.
More in terms of alcohol, yeah.
I drink some beer sometimes, and wine and whiskey and whatever.
But what is your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Water is fine. Yeah.
Normally I ask because I always like to be careful too, because I know some people, they've had bad experiences with alcohol in general. They were raging.
Yeah.
So.
It's what I work with, so I know the dangers of it.
So that's why it's always one to ask too. I don't know if you had that issue too, and then you ended up becoming the spokesperson, the therapist in that way too. So
no.
All right. But keep up the good work there, Trooper. So
yep.
And for the last of the fun questions here, I guess, what is currently your favorite song?
Wow. What is my favorite song? Hard questions, man. I really love the new Gok song we're working on, but I can't play that. And also, Isaac Venom have a new EP coming out. That's really good, but I don't remember the song names. But for more popular stuff, I mean, I listen to so much music. It's hard. I can't really think of one, to be honest.
He's secretly a Taylor Swift fan at heart. So.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the whole video Taylor Swift, it kind of drives people crazy over here, to be honest. Some of us just want to like just drop it and leave it. That sort of thing.
She's like everywhere, isn't she? She's like at the Super Bowl and everything.
Well, she's dating the big tight end, Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs. So I mean, like, it's a big deal. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of over at this point. I feel like people just drop it. She's gonna date the guy. Good luck to him. That's all I say.
Yeah.
actually, it's funny. The guy I interviewed last night, his name was Tom from the band Rhinoceros. It was a joke, but he pretty much said, like, the conspiracy theory is that she's an alien. So she's taking over the world.
She could be.
I mean, I was telling him we couldn't take over the world with a white Michael Jackson, so I mean, I had to do something else.
Yeah, so it's like the lizard people, something.
I forget what that one TV show was. I don't know if it was also a movie, but it was like the aliens come in, they're pretending to be friendly, but they're secretly harvesting humans. So I forget what it was called.
Yeah, I think I know which one. Was it Jupiter Ascending or something like that?
Something like that. I'm not too sure, but regardless, I digress on that. But a separate question here, I guess. What do you recommend people go whenever they want to visit Sweden? Do you recommend visiting Gothenburg and see mainly big cities and all that places?
Yeah, I mean it's beautiful in the countryside as well. But if you want to see cities, I think Gothenburg is great. It's kind of a small big city. It's kind of, when I was in Seattle, I was thinking it's pretty much as big as Gothenburg. Maybe Seattle is a little bit bigger, but Stockholm is nice. But there's this town in southern Sweden, Malmö. That's really great. It's the third biggest city. I always like to go there. It's a bit more, it's close to Denmark, so it's a bit more continental, you know. They're a bit more laid back down there. I like that.
We'll just go and party with the Danes afterwards too. So
yeah, you just take the train. It takes maybe a half hour or something to go to Copenhagen. So
that sounds interesting. So we'll put it on my bucket list too, but we'll make sure to come during the summer months, not the winter months.
Yeah. I can recommend coming in the summer instead. It's not always the greatest of summers here either, but at least it's not snowing. So.
True. That's all that we asked for at that point. So, right. So Richard, we're down to one more question. We almost reached the end of my podcast right here. Before we jump into it, did you have any questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
Yeah, you're a drummer, right?
Yes, I was. And it was funny when you brought up the message, like, were you doing a drum cover or something like that? I think drum cover.
I saw on your YouTube channel that you did drum covers. So I was hoping you do a Mourning Scars drum cover, maybe.
Well, actually, I did do it in Flames cover. I did the song "Colony." So.
Oh yeah, cool. So how did you start playing drums?
Quite by accident, actually, because like I said, I was a cello player, and that was actually the beginning part of the interview here. But
that is a cool instrument, though. I like the cello.
It was actually pretty fun. I wish I was more dedicated to it. At times, I think I was kind of in that rebellious Holden Caulfield stage where I just didn't care about much. But I did cello from 3rd grade to 12th grade, and then I had to leave it because the university or college I went to, they didn't have a orchestra program. So unfortunately, I just sat there collecting dust, and we eventually sold it. And I got to the video game Rock Band, and I just figured, hey, let's try drums. It looks fun. And pretty soon it just worked your way up from easy, medium, hard, expert. And when my parents realized it wasn't a fad, they're like, hey, do you want your own drum set? So they weren't going to do the acoustic set because obviously, since you still live with the parents, you don't want to deal with the loud banging and everything too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You want to be Animal and like that one commercial, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I wish I could still play drums here. I miss that a lot.
It brings out the energy. There's something divine about it. So.
Yeah, sure.
But that's pretty much our story, actually. Instead of an acoustic set, we just ended up with the electric drum set. A beginner set at first, and then I eventually upgraded to a set I've been using for a good while now.
So what is your favorite drummer?
Good question. Ironically, in terms of metal, you tend to get like inspired by them, but it's like I can't even play blast beats for like a full 30 seconds, to be honest, too. So
yeah, it's hard.
There is that. Normally I said George Coolius from Nile.
Okay, cool.
So he'd be one. I've also had fun doing Pete Sandoval too from Morbid Angel.
Yeah, great choices. Yeah, I think maybe the technique is to not play so hard when you do the blast beats. seems like they don't play so hard. Maybe there's a trigger. The drums are triggered or something. I don't know.
I don't know. They say triggers are cheating, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just guessing. I've never played blast beats myself, so.
It's pretty fun too. But I would say, I think it comes down to where the thumb is in terms of where you're holding the stick. So,
yeah, it should be some kind of technique to it. Yeah,
it's something like that too. I mean, I'm trying, but sometimes it's like I just can't get my thumb to get in that spot. I think if I just get it there, I'll be able to move the stick as fast as I want it to. So, but I had fun with it. And hey, I had fun doing a Napalm Death cover of Unfit Earth. That's been my most watched drum cover, to be honest.
Wow. I'll check it out. That's cool.
So, but there's the story.
Mm-hmm.
Guess, got any other ones?
Not that I can think of right now.
They'll come to him later. They'll be like, oh, shit, I should ask them that question. So,
yeah.
All right. But let's go and jump into this one, and maybe we'll see if anything comes to you afterwards. But for the last question right here, you might have harped on it a little bit too. Obviously, in a funny sense, in terms of death metal, and black metal too, we're meant to be dark and despairing. But given what COVID has done, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in the post-COVID world?
Wow. I mean, be kind to people. I mean, you never know the struggles people are going through. Try to not be an asshole, I guess. Be nice.
Keep your head up high. Just keep pressing forward. And then get up and do it again.
Yep. Something like that.
As I was saying, us death metal guys, we had to be dark and depressing at times. So
yeah.
I see what you mean. But I guess also in terms of work too, I mean, you have to also help out these people who are overcoming a rock bottom situation too. So
yeah, it keeps you humble. It can happen to anyone. So
absolutely. And spoke like a true prodigy. So all right. So Richard, we've reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked for a little over an hour right now, but I guess do you have any final words? Any shout outs you want to give before we close?
Shout outs to the band Together, Community, Anger Overdose, Icy Givenon, Goksong, Jamsteak, what have you. Keep it up, everyone out there. I mean, I discover so many bands like every day. If you want me to listen to something, send me a link, and I'm always up for collaborations and stuff like that. So if anyone has something they want to have vocals or guitars or something like that, just reach out.
All right. I might actually want to do something because I'm actually been looking for doing collabs and stuff. So
yeah,
I'll keep you on the message or side too. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But for now, I guess, and just to reiterate too, can you just list again what social media and streaming platforms you're on for the audience so I can check out your music and everything else too?
Yeah, there's Facebook, Instagram. Those are the main social media platforms. So.
All right, sounds good. So everyone, my guest today was Richard, hailing from Sweden. He's part of the band Mourning Scars, Dead Deceased, and Gothenburg. So make sure you go check him out and everything. Go check him out on socials. Go check him out on the streaming. Go subscribe. Check out the music too. Help these guys out. These guys are doing wonders out in the world too. So, Richard, I want to thank you again so much again for coming on. You stay safe.
Thanks for having me.
Rock on.
Okay.
Stay tuned,
Bye.
y'all.